guys, Lee here. So it's been a while since I've made a workshop video. I have been building another guitar in the background, but I didn't bother filming that one. As you know, I've been talking about getting a lathe for a while, and it just so happens, as you can see, I've finally made a purchase. So I really have never used a lathe before. This is going to be my first time. Hopefully I can take you with me in my learning experience. After doing so much woodwork, I've decided to try a bit of metal work. So it's purely for hobby reasons at the moment. Eventually I will hope to make something simple for my guitars, such as the knobs. So that should be quite easy to create a knob and knurl it and make it look nice. So that's the reason I'm doing it. I'm going to see if I can start to make some of the components on the guitars I build. But it's a good thing to learn anyway. As you can see, I've got various different tools. A lot of this all came with the lathe. So I bought a package. It's an X-display model. It came with lots of other stuff like the quick change tool posts, things like that. But let's take a closer look. So as you can see, I've got a selection of different things. The quick change tool post came with various different tools. These are the carbide tooling. This is just what it came with. Like I say, I'm new to this, so I'm just going to use what I've been given as part of the kit and see where we go. So I've got various different tools. I think that one's for threading. I've also got a parting tool as well. Hopefully you can see that on there. Very important, a brush to brush down the ways. Also WD-40, which I'm going to use for cutting fluid. I've seen a lot of other people do that, so that's fine for me to get started. I've got a deburring tool, as you can see there. So that will hopefully take the sharp edges off. A file. And of course, very important, things like the instruction manual. So this is a Chinese lathe. It's a bit bigger than I wanted to purchase, but it was a good price, so I thought I'd get it, especially since it came with free delivery and all of the other stuff thrown in as well. So having said that, like I say, I'm brand new to this. The main safety wear, goggles, no sleeves, nothing like that. This is what I've been told. It's a rotary tool, so you want to keep anything hanging away. So should we start my first time? Should we try it? And you can watch me and see what happens, and hopefully I won't be calling 999 by the end of the day. Let's take a look. Right guys, so without further ado, let's make my first cut on my new lathe. So I've already run the machine in, I've changed the oil, I've oiled all the ways, everything's been cleaned and ready. I've also already centered the tool, so it should already be centered, it should be ready to go. So all I need to do next is turn it on, and we'll face and we'll cut, and let's see what happens. Well, there we are, a successful first cut, first time on a lathe. As you can see, it's not quite deep enough, so I just need to go in deeper and take the rest of that off. So let's do it. So I'm wondering if I went in too deep there. Oh, it looks like I'm taking quite a bit of material off and that bird's nest. Let's see what happens if it's aluminium, so it should be a higher speed, but I can change the speed. Let's finish this off first, and then we'll start practicing with different speeds. So it seemed to work better as it got closer in. That means it should be maybe a little bit slower, but I don't know. Let's try again. Let's move in slightly, and we'll just I'll try and vary the speed that I'm putting the tool through. The chips aren't breaking as much as I thought they would with aluminium. So what I'll do is I'll try and change speeds now, just to see what the difference makes, so I can learn my machine. At the moment I'm running at about 800 RPM on there, so I can't do the maths to work out the surface speed, but obviously when you're facing, the surface speed changes as you get closer to the center. Let's try a bit faster. 1400 RPM, which sounds really fast to me, but let's test the machine and see what happens. I'm not entirely sure if that made much difference to the chips. Let's slow it down and make it, I don't know, let's go around 500 RPM instead. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a much bigger bite of this and see what sort of loads I can put in there. So let's go in a little bit more. So to me, it really feels like that the bigger bite you take, the better it works with regards to the chip breaker. I think that is a carbide tooling thing. So what I've seen online, it seems that the high-speed steel, they seem to cut a bit easier at smaller loads, but to get the most out of the carbide, you have to really put a load on it. So I'm going to try again, and let's load it up even more. Right, now. Well, as you can see, that was pretty much perfect, and there was a lot more load on that. That must have been 0.5 millimeter or so I took off there. So that's pretty good. The next thing then, let's go across and see what we can do. So that cut, although it cut really easily, it's not the most attractive cut in the world, I've got to admit. So let's see what we can do to improve that. Possibly this is where the speed will come in. I need to have it much faster. So let's try again, and let's increase the speed to 800. Again, it's still a bit messy. I'm not sure how I improve that, but that's why I'm learning. So let's try again. Let's take a bigger bite out of it, see if that makes a difference. Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. Right then, so what shall I try next to try and stop that happening? Let's try and increase the speed and see what happens. Yeah, I'm not liking that. Maybe I need to slow it down a bit. Let's remove that. Right, so let's go much slower and see what happens, back down to 500. Right, well, hopefully you saw that, but this carbide tooling definitely works when you're taking huge bites out of it. I think I might need a wider nose radius and maybe a light to get the lighter cut. But as soon as there's a lot of load on it, it seems to cut the chips perfectly. So I'll have to work out how I can do really light passes for accurate work. But so far I'm really happy. What I'll do is we'll stop it there and we'll pick it up a bit later. So on the next video, I'll take you through the lathe just so you know what I've bought and some of the controls and how it works. But for today, I'm really happy with that practice and I'll catch you all soon.